Hello, hello, hello. Again, here we are, Michael E. Gerber speaking to you from Awakening the Entrepreneur Within. Why in the world do we do this show every other week? Now, understand when I ask you that question, we should be doing this show every freaking day. Why? Because it is so absolutely critical to every single one of you. You understand, unless and until you truly and intentionally are awakening the entrepreneur within you, you'll never truly see the opportunities that abound all around you, and why the limitations that absolutely control every aspect of your life and perhaps the company you've created aren't the limitations you think they are. You know, my lovely, adorable, and most challenging wife, Luz Delia, always says, Michael, people always ask you a question and you answer a different one. Why is that? And I said, because they don't know the real question to ask. Well, today we're going to address something that is obviously of interest to every single one of you. I'm going to introduce you to a great gentleman. In fact, I only met him just recently, but my wife, Luz Delia, as Chief Executive Officer of our companies, Michael E. Gerber Companies, Radical You, Prodigy, Business Books, etc., has been speaking to his company for over a year, absolutely determined to bring what JB does in Marketing 360 to what we're about to do to transform the state of small business worldwide by transforming the state of entrepreneurship worldwide in order to transform the state of economic development worldwide. Now, if you've heard me talk before, you say, but Michael, you say that over and over and over again. Listen to me. I've been saying that since I founded my very first and the very first small business coaching company in the world in 1977. Do you hear me? 1977. I started what I'm doing before some of you were even born. And here we are on that path, having done a massive amount toward reaching that objective, but now taking it beyond belief to every single one of you on the planet who may even not think of yourselves as potential entrepreneurs. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Growing and glowing like a rocket to the moon. I want to introduce you to J.B. Kellogg. Fascinating man. And I'm going to be asking him a lot of questions that, in fact, you probably would ask if you were here with us. JB, welcome to Awakening. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm really glad to be here. I appreciate it. Actually, I was born in 1980, so you're right. You were 3 years ahead of me on that. So there you go. Proof in the pudding.
There you go. JB, I want to share with everybody who's listening to us how this kind of stuff gets started. So understand, you just said it. You were born in when?
1980.
Think about that, folks. 1980. 1980. And we started in 1977. And I was freaking born in 1936. Can you believe that? JB, tell me what happened to you that caused you to start the companies you've started with your partner?
Well, I always saw myself as an entrepreneur, even as a kid. My grandfather was an entrepreneur, and my great grandfather was, and my dad was. And so I felt as if it was my destiny to a certain extent. I didn't necessarily know what I would do, but I knew that I would start a business someday. So I guess it was kind of in my DNA to a certain extent.
Well, that's extraordinary. It's exactly the opposite behind me. Nobody in my family was an entrepreneur. And in fact, I never even thought of becoming an entrepreneur. I didn't even become what I then thought to be an entrepreneur until I was 41 years of age. I didn't even start this until I was 41. So it's an astonishing thing to hear, and I've heard it a lot of times by typically young guys who say, I always have been an entrepreneur. I used to sell lemonade. I used to do this. I used to do that. I used to do the other, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, when everybody else was just fooling around. Yeah. So talk to me more about your first entrepreneurial endeavor.
Yeah, I would almost say that I think a lot of people are entrepreneurs at heart, but it's easier when you can see sort of a case study. It almost gives you that extra bit of certainty or confidence to move that direction. So I always felt that way. My first endeavor was in high school. I started a lawn mowing company called Local Boys Make Good is what we called it. And we did really well. You know, we advertised in the newspaper at that time was the main avenue for advertising. Got a lot of business, did, you know, free estimates, did senior discounts and everything else. We ended up buying all of our own equipment, our own trailer, had our own brand. So I was fairly excited about the whole opportunity. I remember walking around high school, looking around saying, man, I make way more money than all my friends. You know, this is awesome. And I control my own schedule. This is a pretty good deal. And so that's kind of what got me into it. And then obviously progressed from there.
So you started that at what age?
I would have been 16 at that time.
Okay.
I just got my driver's license. And so I started just before that. Actually, I was 15 and my dad had to drive me around with my lawnmower, but he didn't want to do that for too long. So luckily I turned 16 pretty early, my freshman year, and I started that company.
How super. So you did that for how long?
I did that for 4 years, all through high school.
Wow. And then what?
Then I went to college. I went to college on a football scholarship. And that's really a full-time job in college. I mean, you spend all day, even in the off season, pretty much training and studying, whether it's in class or in sports. And so that kept me very busy. My senior year, when I had finished my final football season, I no longer had that time commitment on the sports side. And so I had a lot of time on my hands. So I had always had an interest in marketing and design and had a passion there. And so I went down to a local publishing company. They did travel magazines called Zia Publishing, which is only about a block from school. And I walked in there and I said, hey, I'll do anything. I'm just looking for an internship. I just want to learn. I'm pretty talented at design. I can do sales. I can do anything. Like, where can I learn, you know? And they said that they didn't need anybody at that time, but they did need a website. So they asked if I knew how to build a website. And I said, I had no idea, but if you give me a desk in 2 months, I'll figure it out. And thankfully they did. And so I self-taught myself how to build a website. And that's where I really learned the skills that helped start Madwire in the digital world. I recognized that at that point in time, not a lot of people knew how to do that, you know, so building a website was relatively rare at that point in time, and small businesses really weren't moving online just yet. So luckily that opportunity kind of sprungboarded me into the right direction for Madwire.
And what year was that?
That was in 2004 and 5. Yeah.
Got it. And so did you create Madwire following that?
So nope. Following that, I actually worked with my dad. He had a futures and commodities brokerage firm that he had founded in the 80s. And so I worked with him. I worked him on the sales floor. I was a broker. I also rebuilt their website several times, helped start building some of the online trading software and those platforms. So that got me into the software development side of the world. And we started testing all kinds of digital marketing advertising channels like Google AdWords when it very first came out. You know, we started running ads on that channel. The futures brokerage industry, just like stock trading, is very, very competitive. So it was way ahead of small business with regards to marketing. You know, it was completely moved digital before small business had moved digital. And so all along the way, I was kind of talking with my dad saying, hey, I think there's a real opportunity with the small business marketing that I think we can jump on top of. And we can use what we've learned in the brokerage model to build that business, because it's really about building relationships, a book of business, showing a return on investment. It's just, instead of investing in a trading portfolio, you're just investing in marketing channels to try to get a better return on your marketing dollar. And so, you know, he got more and more excited about it. And the one thing we didn't like about the brokerage industry is you're at the disposal of the markets, which is out of your control. So no matter how hard you work and how big of a business you build, it could at any moment get sort of crushed by the markets at any one time. And we didn't like that element of it. So we thought, hey, what better business to build than one that's controlled based on our effort and our leadership abilities, where the market wasn't as big of a deal. And so we could see that that was a big opportunity. And eventually we just pulled the trigger on it, the two of us. So my dad and I co-founded Madwire, and we're the co-CEOs currently, and we've built it ever since.
Wonderful. And so tell me, so your dad participated in the founding of that company.
That's right.
Yep. Is your dad still actively involved?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He couldn't not work. He's here every day. We get here every morning at about 5 a.m. We start early. It gives us some quiet time to brainstorm and do things like that. But yeah, no, very, very active every day.
And what is your dad's role in the company?
He's a co-CEO, and he kind of focuses more on the financial side and the sales side. I focus more on the operation side of things, and the technology side. So
Got it. So tell us about the evolution into vertical business models that essentially you've described. Marketing 360 is one of them. Would you describe the panoply, if you will, of the various divisions within Madwire?
Absolutely. So Madwire has 3 brands: Marketing 360, which is our small business marketing platform; TopRated Local, which is our review platform; and Websites 360, which is a website platform.
Okay, so explain the second one.
TopRated Local, that's our review platform. So that's similar to like a Yelp type product. It's a small business review platform, but it's more business friendly.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so you're working on those 3, and how is that organized? Is there a leader for each of those brands?
There is teams within Madwire that are responsible for those different brands. That's right. Whether it be account management or sales, depending on the product, it has different systems built behind it. And so there's people that are responsible for managing those systems. Marketing 360 is our biggest brand, probably what we're most well known for with small business. And we market into 40 different verticals, primarily from chiropractors to plumbers to contractors to fitness gyms, and everything you would see around town really are our small business customers that Marketing 360 serves.
Wonderful. So very much like we're doing with our vertical eMyth books.
Exactly.
Yep. So that's a wonderful synergy between us. Talk to me about what Marketing 360's promises to a small business client.
Well, what I always say is we have one guarantee, and that's nobody will work harder than us, but we can't guarantee what your return on investment will be. There's too many moving parts to that. A lot of it is up to the small business owner, quite honestly. We can get them leads and we can get them visitors and those sorts of things. But like I always say, we can get the ball up to the net, but they've got to dunk it through. If they're not calling the leads and selling the leads, then obviously they're not going to see a return. So it's a partnership. But Marketing 360 is kind of 2 parts. It's technology and talent. So a small business working with Marketing 360 gets the technology piece, which is the platform. And that's anything from a CRM to manage your leads, to email marketing, to online advertising, social media management, reputation management, and everything else that a small business needs on the technology side of things to manage their marketing and their business. And then there's the talent side, which is the biggest need for small business, because nowadays you need somebody responsible for managing the online digital marketing. You need a good designer. You typically need somebody good with video. You need somebody good with managing social media. And so you need this team, but small businesses can't afford that. To have a team of talented people managing your marketing internally is very expensive, tens of thousands of dollars a month. And so with Marketing 360, you get the technology, but you also get the team. So you get the 2 pieces you need today to be successful. And that's kind of the selling point.
I see. So there's the technology, and then there's the people. So speak to me about how you manage, in quotes, a team. I'll call it, as you've described it, a marketing development team. That's then a small business client's team to develop the lead flow for that small business owner, which they then are responsible for converting into business, I would presume.
That's right. right?
Right. So you don't do the lead conversion, you do the lead generation.
Right.
Got
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And talk to me about your small business owner. Um, you're saying you might be a chiropractor, he may be a this, he may be a that, whatever kind of company it is. How do you help them to grow beyond their current insufficiencies, their lack of skill associated with converting leads into ongoing business?
Yeah, our mission at Madwire is to help small businesses grow. And the reason that's our mission is because we feel that if we do that well, we make the world a better place. Because when small businesses grow, they provide jobs, they put food on people's tables, they create new solutions, new products, they fund charities and everything else. And so that's what gets us excited every day. And so however we can help a small business grow, we want to do it. So if we're generating leads and they're not closing the leads, we're going to listen to those calls. We're going to give them some feedback there. We're going to give them some coaching. We'll help maybe give them some advice on price points and those sorts of things to help increase their conversion. At the end of the day, if they're not seeing success, we're not seeing success. We're going to lose them as a client. And the sadder thing is they probably won't be in business for long. And so what we want to do is make sure that we're doing everything we can to help them be successful. And so we have roles here that really lead those conversations: marketing consultants giving advice, marketing executives, which are ongoing, marketers that work to build their brand and provide advice on that front, and then all the technicians on the back end, whether it's designers or video people or content writers, are really following along with that vision that's been cast by the marketing executive in partnership with the small business owner. So whatever we got to do, we'll do it.
What you're describing, and I'm certain everybody listening in can relate to this, what you're describing is immense complexity, and complexity related to skill, complexity related to relationship, complexity related to branding. So if you're working with 37 chiropractors, how do you in turn make certain that each and every one of those individual chiropractors are branded competitively in the marketplace? How have you learned to do all those things and the many, many more things that you have to do in the evolution of your enterprise?
Well, we've learned by experience. We didn't have a manual for this. We just started with my dad and I, and we learned enough to hire some people, and it's like a snowball. As of today, we have about 600 people, about 100 leaders that manage teams here. And it's just about being able to duplicate yourself as an entrepreneur as much as you can. And you have to wear a lot of hats initially, but eventually you kind of move into that visionary role in different pieces. And it's really the only way to grow is to be able to put somebody in charge that's going to be able to run that team as good or better than you did, so that you can move forward into new territory. And so it was just constantly working with these business owners in these different verticals and understanding their pain points, things that work for them. No different than a consultant in the chiropractic industry. People go to these consultants because they've seen a lot of things, so they can help you see around the corner on stuff. And we've lived it, all these years working with tens of thousands of businesses up to this point in those key verticals. And on an ongoing basis, hearing from people in those verticals. A lot of times the clients will call us and kind of get us researching something before we've even thought about it. So they're kind of leading it, but we do the work of getting them the answers. And then we just spread the knowledge to other businesses in those verticals that can also benefit from that.
Super. And are you focused on vertical markets, or are you focused on whatever comes your way?
We focus our marketing on 40 different verticals in the small business space, but we do take all comers. So if somebody comes to us that's not in one of those top 40 verticals and they do something else, we definitely will take their business and do our best to help grow their business. But our core expertise is in 40 different verticals, which are listed on marketing360.com.
And so your company was founded in what year again?
In 2009. 10 years.
2009, here we are in 2019, so it's 10 years old.
Yep.
And you started with just the two of you, you and your father.
That's right.
And today you have 600 people, and you have grown from zero to what is your gross revenue today? Do you mind sharing it?
Sure. Yeah, we're on a run rate right now of over 100 million, just over 100 million as of
Wonderful.
right now.
And what's the outcome?
How do you mean?
Well, certainly there's an outcome. In short, there's an end game.
Yeah.
And you're only, how old are you? 23, 24?
39. 39.
Thank you. I'm just playing it. 39. And so certainly you've thought of where is this going? What is it going to become? And ultimately, when is it going to be acquired?
Yeah, honestly, we want to build a long-term sustainable brand for our clients and for our people. What we believe is you take care of the customer and the customer will take care of you. And ultimately, whatever that outcome is, it'll take care of itself. We don't have a specific end game goal, whether that be IPO or acquisition or just long-term private profitable company. All those avenues are a possibility. We're not ruling any out. We're also not sticking our flag in the ground saying we're committed to one of them. We're just focusing every day on doing the best we can to serve the customer. And ultimately, I think the rest will take care of itself.
I got it. So we can have an immensely valuable relationship. In that, I'm not suggesting you need to stick a pole in the sand, but effectively, there is a pole in the sand, whether you stick it there or not. I call it the crap out date. And effectively, it's the day we go.
Yeah.
Toni Morrison just passed at the age of 88. Toni Morrison was a great, great author. And she said once in one of her books, and she's written such stunning books, stunning books. She said, the truth about life is we die. And in between now and then, we learn language. And to Toni Morrison, learning language was touching the heart of what it means to be human in the world. Now, if you were to read one of Toni Morrison's great books, like Beloved, which was a great movie, she is one of the great authors of the 20th and 21st centuries. You suddenly come face to face with the other part of being an entrepreneur, the other part of creating something that has lasting permanence within it, that essentially becomes our legacy. Toni Morrison has a great legacy. You can go to it every single day. You can read it. You can feel it. You can discover it. You can speak it. You can relate to it in a way that touches your heart. So I'm suggesting you and your father have a legacy. It lives right now. And that legacy is, in fact, always being created. So every day we either diminish it or expand it, or alter it completely. But in reality, we die. Now, I speak that at 83. You're listening to me at 39, and you're saying, oh, no, we don't. But hear me, oh, yes, we do. And it isn't necessarily connected to age. As we've seen over and over again, young people passing and leaving their life behind. There's something extremely important about what you and your father have done and are capable of doing. But it goes deeper and further than just getting better at what you do. At least that's my reason for being excited about a gentleman at 39, JB, and a father who's older than that, who effectively have taken on the world, the economic reality of the world, and said, we can improve upon that. And in the process of improving upon that, we can create a lasting legacy that will exist 100 years from today, so that every new person coming to this planet has a chance for something significantly greater and more than they would have had we not done what we did. You follow me?
I'm with you.
That's what I feel about what you're doing.
I appreciate that.
And so when I think about the flag on the pole and the sand, etc., as though been there, done that, I'm thinking about it a little differently than that. I'm thinking about it as a mission.
Yeah.
That we have a dream, we have a vision, we have a purpose, we have a mission. Our dream in 1977 was stated explicitly to transform the state of small business worldwide. We've done that with hundreds of thousands of clients. Our vision was to invent the McDonald's of small business consulting. And what we meant by that was to turnkey consulting to a degree nobody ever conceived possible before, so we could replicate it successfully in the hands of ordinary people, not extraordinary people, and do that in a way that will have a measurable impact upon every human being on the planet. That was our vision. Our purpose was that every single small business client who came our way could be as successful as a McDonald's franchisee, which is no mean feat. And our mission was to invent the business development system that was critical to enable us to realize our dream, our vision, and our purpose, and of course, our mission. And so there was an end game to all that. Not the end game at Michael E. Gerber's passing, but the end game of every single human being on the planet becoming aware of it and internalizing it. And to understand that every single one of us are born in the image of God. And if we're born in the image of God, that means every human being is born to create. And if every human being is born to create a world fit for God, and if that's what we believe, and I believe that deeply, 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 and there's simply evidence of it, you're gifted by your grandfather and your father and your own inspiration to go beyond just doing it, whatever it might have been, to create something stunningly alive. And you've done that. And you're in the process of doing that. And I'm simply saying to every single soul listening to us right now, you're witnessing a true entrepreneur. JB is a true entrepreneur. JB's dad is a true entrepreneur. But there's something inside of JB, not the stuff he does, but the one he is, that I'm suggesting every single one of you have to become familiar with. That's the true legacy. The true legacy isn't what he's created. The true legacy is that he was called to create it. And he didn't know anything when he started. Did you hear JB say, and my dad took me and my lawnmower until I could get a license of my own? His dad inspired JB to mow lawns, to create a company with other kids, doing that at the age of 15. Isn't that remarkable? Think about every single 15-year-old kid out there on the planet right now, JB. What if they could put their lawnmower in your car and go around the city mowing lawns? Nobody's doing that. Nobody is doing that. Thank God for your dad. Thank God for your granddad. Thank God for you, and thank God for God. What an extraordinary gift you bring to the world.
Thank you very much.
So I want to thank you deeply for coming here and joining us today on Awakening the Entrepreneur Within. That's what we're committed to do. So help me God, that's absolutely what we're committed to do. Now, the only question is, who's going to drive those kids around in their car with their lawnmower to do exactly what you did, to discover the joy of being independent economically at 15 years of age? Now, that's an enterprise worth pursuing. Hey, who's got a car? Hey, every 15-year-old in town, we're creating a company you're going to become an active partner of. We're going to make sure you get there, and we're going to make sure you get home. Who's ready?
We're ready.
Absolutely spectacular. JB, thanks for joining us.
Thanks
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Luz Delia, my dearest, sweet Luz Delia, thank you for bringing JB to Awakening the Entrepreneur Within. Let's do something absolutely mind-blowing together, JB. Let's transform the state of entrepreneurship, small business, and economic development worldwide. We got lots to do. So this is Michael E. Gerber saying, thanks all for coming here. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. I have no idea who the next guy is, but let me tell you, he's going to be another guy just like JB, who's making it, shaking it, breaking it, and doing stuff he never imagined he would have the capability to do, but he trusted in the powers that be. Thank you all. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Michael.